Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Naraka Bladepoint beta is upon us. We are mere hours away, and I'd like to give some information that may assist in getting you guys that are interested in the game right where the action is. This video will consist of some footage of the skills and characters currently available in the game, as well as some vital information if you're interested in playing. So without much more rambling, here we go. So, first things first, to get a beta key, you need to either win a giveaway or join the Naraka official Discord and invite 2 other members. The beta times and dates are as follows, on screen right now. Bear in mind, however, you can play the tutorial of the game an hour before the official launch of the beta servers. This seems to be an NA only beta, however, so ping-wise, if you live somewhere else, that may be an issue. It's going to be from November 3rd to November 9th. PST, for example, it will be 4 PM to 10 PM, just a little example, meaning you can play the beta at 3 PM because it'll be open an hour before if you want to get stuck into the tutorial. However, there is good news if you don't care about ping. They posted the available country list. So here it is. There are way too many countries on here to list, but for example, you can play from Australia, New Zealand, the United Kingdom, parts of Europe, in fact most of Europe as far as I can see, amongst many others. Pause the video here if you need to. The list will just be there on screen for a little bit. Next up, we've got the updated system requirements. The game itself isn't huge, so downloading beforehand shouldn't be an issue for most people. Next up, on the website here we see a roster of 6 characters. However, in-game we see 6 characters, however some of them look a little different or a lot of different and have different names to their online art. I suspect that these are the same characters, and as the Naraka dev stated before, there would be roguelike mechanics, and it seems each character is able to use pretty much many weapons, if not all of them. So an example of that is Viper Ning, who we see here using a greatsword. It remains to be seen in the full beta, however, how correct or incorrect that is. However, it does seem that the movesets of the weapons are universal and attached to the weapons. Once you select a character, it does seem that there are going to be skills to that character. Although there's definitely ranged combat and healing skills for sure. And of course, let's remember this is a test version and not the final ready for release version of the game. Now, onto the more fun demonstration. Here's a few of the mechanics available and what they do. There'll be a few seconds of lingering between, but pause the video if you need to read them. This game definitely has some great potential, and I'm excited to really get stuck in. The trifecta here seems to be the focus being focus strikes, counter strikes, and common attacks, all of which seem to mesh together to create a really good combat system where counter strikes counter the focus strikes are, charged attacks, and the common attacks are strong against counter strikes. Just like other games, there's a jumping mechanic where you can evade most horizontal strikes, a dodge mechanic where you can dodge other abilities, and a crouch mechanic that lets you avoid other overhead strikes. The entire system allows you to move and maneuver yourself in a more favorable position. Now, a mechanic that excites me is the grappling hook. You've got 3 different kinds. The grappling hook normal, where you can basically grapple to almost anywhere on the map as advertised. A hook shot itself, which lets you deliver an attack towards the enemy. And a flying attack, which I believe would be different based on what weapon you're holding at the time. Next up are the abilities. It seems like every character seems to have a normal ability they use, and I would assume that the second ability is an ultimate ability due to its strength. So Viper Ning has 2 abilities. They're based on poison, as we saw from the trailer. It seems she can poison enemies and coat objects in poison that explode when they're picked up or be detonated manually. Her second ability seems to be a strong AoE sort of stun ability that also does damage. The secondary resource in Naraka seems to be energy, so with that, the second dude on this list that has a name that I cannot pronounce seems to use wind orbs to drain energy from opponents or manually knock them back. The second ability this man has is a Zephyr Prison that allows him to create a wind barrier that slows down enemies and shields from ranged projectiles. He can, however, pass through them untouched. Next up, we have Matari, who I suspect is also Milika. in the actual game. Her first ability seems to be a teleport that can be either short-ranged or held to be longer-ranged. Her second ability lets her enter a stealth state. She becomes invisible for a short while, and she can use ambush strikes, such as attacks from walls or trees. This is definitely the assassination character, so if you want to pick something up that plays like an assassin, I would suggest this one. Next up is Tarka G. He's definitely the greatsword guy from the website. His skills definitely consist of throwing fire that disables the sprint, and grappling hooks and doubles burning damage, and is effective against armor. His secondary skill is a buff that also turns him into a fire flaming dude that runs around, knocking enemies back, burning them, and he gains speed and jumping power, so it's great for mobility and attacking. Next up we have Kurumi Tsuchimikado. She definitely seems to be the healer of the roster. Her first ability is a supportive ability that heals an ally that she's linked to and gives them defense. However, she cannot attack while this is active. She can, however, teleport to the ally and stagger enemies around them. Right-clicking cancels the ability. Her second ability is a circle of healing that heals any that enter it and removes debuffs. It is stated, however, that the circle is easily affected by other elements. Finally, we have our bow staff wielding monk, or whatever weapon you choose, Tenkai. His first ability is called Iron Skin, which draws upon his chi. This defensive ability summons a bell around Tenkai's body that staggers melee attackers back when they attack. Tenkai's second ability seems to be one of the coolest. It transforms him into a complete colossus, where he can grab people, slam them down while also stomping at the ground, and also applying a debuff, it would seem, that doesn't let nearby players grapple anybody at all. It also seems that the grapple has a much longer range than would be expected. There are a lot of available combo attacks that you can use in Naraka Bladepoint. On the screen right now you should see some of them, recommended combos, and combos that you could probably invent by yourself. There is ranged weaponry in Naraka Bladepoint. There are 6 different kinds of ranged weaponry, starting with a bow, repeating crossbow, swarm, flamebringer, pistol, arquebus. All of the ranged weaponry has the shoot function in combat. However, the arquebus, for example, has an aim down sights as a secondary, the pistol has a charge up, the repeating crossbow has sustained fire, the bow has a charge shot, the swarm has a charge up, and the flamebringer doesn't have anything besides the basic attack. There is a resurrection function in the game. If you die and you still have energy, which seems to be the secondary resource, you can be revived by other players. Otherwise, you'll have to walk around in a soul form to get to a soul altar so you can resurrect yourself if you still have resurrections left. Hope you enjoyed the video. I wish I had more to share, but the people in the Naraka Discord really are doing a great job. Also on their Twitter, so if you're lacking some info or this doesn't answer everything, or maybe you know all of this already, feel free to join their Discord and ask some questions, and I hope to see you all in the beta. I'll personally be streaming the game and making some content on it, so if you'd like to watch me do so, feel free to go to my Twitch, give me a follow, or subscribe on YouTube. Feel free to hit the notification bell if you want to keep up with any of my other videos. If you've enjoyed the content, of course. Thank you very much for being here, and as always, I've been Malicious, and this has been a pleasure.